Oh, we started the session without recording. So yeah, we had talked about this whole process of human crimes against the planet Earth and how us um, mining coal out of the surface of the Earth has caused it to lose its ability to balance its temperature. And then he had proposed different alternatives or solutions to our energy needs that can be utilized instead of coal and oil.
अंदर से कोयला वगैरह निकालने के लिए इतना फौज खड़ा किए हैं, तो इन्हीं की काम है इसके बदले में इसको तैयार करने की बात जिम्मेवारी.
So we have established this huge force, this huge team for mining coal out of the surface of the earth, and it is their responsibility now to execute these alternatives that were discussed. That is how the responsibility falls.
जिम्मेवारी ऐसे ही आती है. इन जिम्मेवारी को यदि निर्वाह करते हैं, हो सकता है तो हम धरती के साथ किए जाने वाले अपराध कार्य रुक सकते हैं.
In case they are able to carry out this responsibility, then it is possible that these crimes against the planet might stop.
रुकने की बात ही सोचा जा सकता है. धरती अपने बलबूते पर कितना पुनः अपने को समर्थ बना पाता है, नहीं बना पाता है, ये बात को सोचने की बात.
It is only after stopping these crimes that we can actually see and think about how far the earth can rejuvenate itself and make itself abundant once again. That is something that can only be seen after the crimes have stopped, or how much it is incapable of doing that also. How far it can rejuvenate or how far it cannot rejuvenate will have to be seen afterwards.
ये तो हुई एक तो धरती का ताप, समुद्र जो है, समुद्र की सतह बढ़ने की बात हो गई.
So this was all about the rise in global temperature and rise in sea level.
तीसरे और एक तलवार मानव जाति के सिर पर मंडरा रहा है. शायद है उस ओर ज्ञानियों को उस ओर ध्यान गया है, नहीं गया है, पेपरों में वो बात आती नहीं है, इसीलिए ऐसा कह रहा हूँ. तो तीसरा तलवार मैं.
So there is another third sword dangling over humankind, and I'm not certain whether scientists have paid attention to this or if they haven't. I'm saying this because this is not something that is discussed or that comes up in the newspapers. So this third problem is,
मेरे आंखों में दिखती है, ये धरती पर जब कभी भी पानी घटित हुई है, वह पानी के लिए कम से कम दो प्रकार की भौतिक वस्तुओं का योग होना जरूरत रहा. दोनों मिलने के बाद अपने अपने चरित्र को छोड़कर, आचरण को छोड़कर तीसरे आचरण के लिए समर्पित हुए, तब यहाँ पानी का संभावना घटित हुई.
So the third problem that I can see is that whenever water emerged on this planet, it necessarily required two different physical elements to come together, and for each of these to leave their original properties and become dedicated to a third new sort of property. Only then did it become possible for water to emerge on this planet.
ये ऐसी घटना घटित होने के मूल में यदि शोध किया जाए, ये पाए जाएंगे कि ब्रह्मांडीय किरण ही इसका एकमात्र स्रोत है.
If we investigate into the cause behind such an event occurring, we will find that it is only cosmic rays that are the root cause at the base of such a reaction, of such an occurrence.
ब्रह्मांडीय किरणों का जो संयोगवश ही इस धरती पर पानी का घटना घटित हुई है, वो उसकी निरंतरता बन चुकी है. अभी उसी
It has been thanks to these cosmic rays that water first emerged. Water was able to emerge on this planet, and now the tradition of water on this planet has been established. And
वो उसकी निरंतरता बन चुकी है। अभी उसी वातावरण में, धरती की वातावरण की जो क्षय हुई है, इसके आधार पर यह भी एक संभावना दिखाई पड़ती है। तो वही ब्रह्मांडीय किरण पुनः उसका विपरीत विधि से प्रभाव डालें, यह धरती पर से पानी ही समाप्त हो सकता है।
So that is how the water emerged on this planet. What did he say? And now the continuum of that has been established. But now, thanks to the depletion of our atmosphere, once again, these very cosmic rays can cause the exact opposite of that earlier event. That is, they can lead to the disappearance of water. Basically, they can break down water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen again, and therefore lead to the disintegration of water on this planet. That is also another possibility that is visible.
तो विघटित होने वाली बात आ जाए, पहले संगठित होने वाली बात के लिए जो ब्रह्मांडीय किरण मदद किया है और फलस्वरूप इस धरती में धरती वैभवित हुई है। पानी के बिना कोई धरती अपने में समर्थ हो ही नहीं सकती। पानी की घटना के लिए ब्रह्मांडीय किरण ही जिम्मेवार है। ऐसे जिम्मेवारी जब जिस ब्रह्मांडीय किरण के ऊपर ही निर्भर है, ऐसे किरण की संयोग यदि विघटित करने के लिए जो ब्रह्मांडीय किरण मदद किया है, यह धरती पर से पानी ही समाप्त हो सकता है।
So water can disappear from this earth.
तो विघटित होने वाली बात आ जाए, पहले
So this disintegration or dissipation of the water molecule can also occur. Earlier it was I've forgotten the chemical terminology now, when two chemicals, it's not fission and fusion, that's nuclear. When two chemicals combine, so this combination of hydrogen and oxygen also happened thanks to these cosmic rays. So therefore,
संगठित होने वाली बात के लिए जो ब्रह्मांडीय किरण मदद किया है और फलस्वरूप इस धरती वैभवित।
So this combination of hydrogen and oxygen into water was helped out by these cosmic rays, and that is why this entire planet could prosper, because all the rest of evolution that has occurred on this planet has been thanks to the water itself. No planet can evolve without the presence of water on it.
हुई है, पानी के बिना कोई धरती अपने में समर्थ हो ही नहीं सकती। पानी की घटना के लिए ब्रह्मांडीय किरण ही जिम्मेवार है। ऐसे जिम्मेवारी जब जिस ब्रह्मांडीय किरण के ऊपर ही निर्भर है।
So the event of water on this planet is thanks to these cosmic rays. The cosmic rays that are responsible for it.
ऐसे किरण की संयोग यदि विघटित करने के लिए घटित हो जाए, उसके बाद धरती पर अपने आप से पानी समाप्त हो जाएगा।
But if these, I have to some words I couldn't catch.
निर्भर है, ऐसे किरण की संयोग यदि विघटित करने के लिए
यदि something करने के लिए. So if such cosmic rays come together to come together now, संयोग हो जाए. If such cosmic rays were to reach the earth now, then it could lead to a disintegration of the water molecules also.
हो जाए, उसके बाद धरती पर अपने आप से पानी समाप्त हो जाए।
After that, water will automatically disappear from this planet.
उसके बाद ना रहे बांस, ना बजे बांसुरी।
And then there's that idiom that when there is no bamboo, there can be no flute. So then the flute cannot play either. So basically, if there is no water, then there can be no life. And so if the cosmic rays reach our oceans or our planet again, they can lead to the disintegration of water and the disappearance of water from this planet, and therefore the disappearance of life from this planet.
अपने आप से हो जाएगी। ये तलवार के ऊपर भी आदमी को ध्यान होना चाहिए।
So humans should pay heed to this sword dangling over us as well.
और इसमें जो जिस स्रोत से ये जिस प्रकार के स्रोतों से धरती की वातावरण स्थित जो माने कवच है ये क्षतिग्रस्त हो गई है, वो तो लोगों का पहचान में आई है।
And so all the different sources thanks to which our Earth's atmosphere, the Earth's shield, has been damaged, that those sources have already been identified.
पेपरों में आती है।
That has been mentioned even in the newspapers.
ये विज्ञानियों ने पता लगा लिए हैं, ये तीन ये बताई जाती है।
That scientists have identified the sources. That is what we are told.
बिगड़ा हुआ का पता लगाना पर्याप्त तो है ही नहीं है, बनाने की आवश्यकता है।
Now, identifying that which is damaging is not sufficient. What we need is to fix it, fix the damage as well.
बनाने की विधा में यही एक प्रस्ताव निकलती है। पहले हम जो धरती के साथ अत्याचार करते हैं उसी को पहले रुकना ही पड़ेगा।
Now, a proposal that can be formed for this fixing or for this replenishment of the atmosphere is that the first point is that first we'll have to stop the atrocities that we are committing against the atmosphere.
जो खनिज तेल और कोयले के आधार पर ही और भी जो विषाक्त गैसों को, विरल पदार्थों को जो मानव ने बनाया युद्ध के लिए, उसी को लेकर के मनुष्य के ऊपर, मनुष्य की सुविधा के लिए जितने भी प्रयोग हुआ, इसी के आधार पर ये जो कवच है धरती का वो क्षतिग्रस्त हुआ।
So first, all these coal and oil and natural gas that we use for our fuel, as well as all the other toxic gases and gaseous chemicals that humans have developed for, I think, did he say for war?
पदार्थों को जो मानव ने बनाया युद्ध के लिए, उसी को लेकर के मनुष्य के ऊपर, मनुष्य की सुविधा के लिए जितने भी प्रयोग हुआ।
So all these toxic, other toxic gases or gaseous chemicals that humans have developed for war and that have been used and experimented on and for human beings.
इसी के आधार पर ये जो कवच है धरती का वो
It is on the basis of all of these gases and toxic chemical gaseous substances that our atmosphere has been damaged.
क्षतिग्रस्त हुआ, ऐसे ही पेपरों में पढ़ने में आती है।
That is what you come to read even in the newspapers.
यदि ये सच्चाई है, वो उन सब जो प्रक्रियाओं को रोकना होगा जिससे धरती की वातावरण क्षतिग्रस्त होता है।
And if this is the truth, then we must stop all of these activities that damage our atmosphere.
पहले तो कोयला और तेल को जलाकर वातावरण की क्षतिग्रस्त होना तो स्वीकारा गया है।
Firstly, this burning of coal and oil and fossil fuels has been recognized as a contributor to the depletion of the atmosphere.
और भी इसके साथ जितने भी विरल पदार्थ तैयार करके क्षतिग्रस्त कर रहे हैं वो सबको रोकना ही होगा।
Along with this, all the other gaseous substances and chemicals that we are creating that are damaging the atmosphere, all of those must also be stopped.
ये रुकने की बाद ही इसमें जो क्षतिपूर्त होने की प्रक्रिया आरंभ होता है।
It is only after stopping these activities that the rejuvenation activity can begin even for the atmosphere. Earlier, he was talking about the lithosphere, the land and the surface of the earth. Now he's talking about the same process in the atmosphere. First, we need to stop our destruction, and then only can the earth kind of work towards rejuvenating and healing the damage that has been done.
या नहीं हो पाता है, उसमें जो क्षतपूर्त होने की प्रक्रिया आरंभ होता है या नहीं हो पाता है, उसको परीक्षण किया जा सकता है.
Only after stopping these activities can we examine whether this rejuvenation process has begun once again or if it hasn't. So first we stop our destruction and then we observe and examine whether it is now beginning to heal and rejuvenate or not.
यही इसका मूल मुद्दे की बात है.
This is its basic. This is the basic point over here.
इस ढंग से हम कहीं कुछ उपाय, कम से कम न्यूनतम उपाय तो सुधरने के लिए शुरू कर सकते हैं.
In this way, we can start some, initiate some strategies, some minimal approaches for improvement.
सुधरने के पक्ष में जो ऊर्जा का विकल्पात्मक स्रोतों को पहले अपन ने एक सुझाव के रूप में देखा ही गया है, तो उसकी संभावना, उसकी आपूर्ति के बारे में सोचने की आवश्यकता है.
In the direction of improvement, I have already proposed certain alternate fuels and technologies that can be used, and that is something that we can consider seriously.
स्रोतों को पहले अपन ने एक सुझाव के रूप में देखा ही गया है, तो उसकी संभावना, उसकी आपूर्ति के बारे में सोचने की आवश्यकता है.
So that we need to consider its possibility and its execution.
मनुष्य जब जैसा दोनों बात किया है, मनुष्य की तमाम क्षति करने का भी सीखा है, उसी प्रकार मनुष्य को कई रोगों को ठीक करने का भी सीखा है.
So just in the way that humans have learned how to damage damage the earth or in several ways, humans have also learned how to cure illnesses in different ways.
ये मानव में एक बहुत बड़ी भारी गुण देखा गया.
This is a very important quality that we have observed in humans.
केवल जो अन्य जानवरों में यही देखा गया कि मनुष्य को जब जो स्वयं को या मनुष्य को क्षतिग्रस्त करने के बाद उसको क्षतपूर्त करने की बाकी कहीं संसार में कुछ नहीं होता है. गया कि मनुष्य केवल जो अन्य जानवरों में यही देखा गया कि मनुष्य को.
I think what I could make out was that this quality is not found in any other animals. You can only find it in humans, that we have this ability to rejuvenate. So we have shown this ability to damage and cause destruction, but humans also have this unique quality of healing and rejuvenation.
केवल जो अन्य जानवरों में यही देखा गया कि मनुष्य को जब जो स्वयं को या मनुष्य को क्षतिग्रस्त करने के बाद उसको क्षतपूर्त करने की बाकी कहीं संसार में कुछ नहीं होता है.
So whether it is humans, whether it is treating themselves or others, you don't see that quality of treating and healing anywhere else on this planet.
किंतु वो क्षति करता भी नहीं है ऐसे.
But then nothing else even damages the way humans do.
कुछ संतुलित विधि से सारे संसार चल ही रहा है.
So in this way, in a balanced way, the rest of the planet has been functioning.
तो मनुष्य क्षति करता है, उसका क्षतिपूर्ति के लिए कुछ नहीं करता है. अगर इस मुद्दे में तो कुछ भी अभी तक कर नहीं पाया है. जो
So it is only humans who cause damage and then don't treat that damage and don't heal that damage. At least in this words, I'm lost for words. At least in this area, in this field that we've been discussing, we have not been able to treat the wounds that we have inflicted on the planet, at least.
धरती के साथ, धरती के वातावरण के साथ और जो परेशानियां तैयार हो रही है, इसकी रिपेयरी के लिए, इसको सुधार के लिए अभी तक कोई कदम देखने को नहीं मिला.
So on this planet, on our land and on the forest and in the atmosphere and the ecosystem, the wounds that we have inflicted, we have not found the ways to treat those wounds as yet.
इसकी रिपेयरी के लिए, इसको सुधार के लिए अभी तक कोई कदम देखने.
We don't see any steps towards the repairing of the damage that we have done or for the improvement on the damage that we have done up to now.
नहीं मिला. हर दिन और बिगड़ा और बिगड़ा और बिगड़ा ही सुनने को मिल रहा है.
Each day we hear of it worsening more and more.
तो कब तक बिगाड़ने की काम करेंगे, ये भी एक सोचने की कथा है.
So for how long will we go on destroying things, worsening things further? That is also something worth considering.
क्या कभी इसका सुधार के लिए भी हम प्रयत्नशील होंगे या नहीं होंगे, ये सोचने की कथा है.
Will we ever also work towards its healing, towards its reparation? That is also something worth thinking about.
ये तो हुई जो धरती के साथ मानव का संबंध है. धरती मानव को सुरक्षित विधि से जीने के लिए संपूर्ण मैंने विधान को बनाए रखते हुए मनुष्य का अवतरण, मनुष्य ने अपने मैंने.
So this has been about the relationship of humans with this planet. This planet Earth has presented itself to nurture and protect humankind.
बनाए रखते हुए मानव को सुरक्षित विधि से जीने के लिए संपूर्ण मैंने विधान को बनाए रखते हुए
this planet Earth has maintained itself in a way to be able to facilitate the secure living of humankind.
मनुष्य का अवतरण, मनुष्य ने अपने मैंने बुद्धि से सारा धरती के साथ विद्रोह, धरती के ऊपर आक्रमण, शोषण, ये सब करते हैं.
While humans with their own, using their own minds and intellect, have been attacking, exploiting and revolting against nature.
इसका मूल तत्व के बारे में यही मान सकते हैं. आदिकाल से ही मनुष्य जो है ना, जो वातावरण को उजाड़ने में ही लगा हुआ है, वो उजाड़ने वाला मानसिकता आदि मानव में जितना रहा है, उससे कुछ अधिक गति से विज्ञान युग के बाद ये तत्पर हो गए.
And the root cause of this that we can probably identify is that ever since prehistoric times, early humans have been involved in ujaadne, exploiting, or no, in destroying nature. And that mentality of destroying and overpowering nature has only speeded up with the onset of the scientific age. So he's saying it's the same mentality that we had in prehistoric times. It's only the pace and our ability to hasten that process that has changed with the onset of science and technology.
इसीलिए हम संकटग्रस्त हो गए.
And that is why we have become overcome with problems.
इतनी बात हुई. मानसिकता तो कुल मिलाकर के वातावरण के साथ विद्रोह करना ही है और मनुष्य के साथ द्रोह करना ही है. सारे धंधा नहीं करना है.
So that is all it is. The mentality at the end of the day is still that we have to revolt against nature, that we have to revolt against other human beings, we have to do all of this. That is all that the mentality is all about.
है और मनुष्य के साथ द्रोह करना ही है, सारे धंधा कर नहीं करना है जो पहले आदमी जैसा करता रहा.
Sorry, Dhroh is not revolt, Dhroh is attack. So the mentality has been to attack nature, to attack other human beings, to do this business in any way possible.
जैसा पहले आदमी इसके नस्ल के आधार पर जो अपने को मान करके दूसरे नस्ल वाला आदमी के ऊपर हमला किया, मारा, कूटा, पीटा.
For instance, earlier human beings would do this on the basis of race. They would identify themselves as one race and identify others as those belonging to different races, and then attack them, kill them, beat them, injure them, do all of that.
ये सब किया ही है, रंग के आधार पर भी किया ही है.
We have done all this. We have done all this also on the basis of color.
उसी के साथ साथ चल करके जो मनुष्य जो है ना, धर्म के नाम से, संप्रदाय के नाम से यही मार कूट काट किया है.
And in the same process, we have also gone on and done the same thing in the name of religion, in the name of sects and communities.
उसके बाद धन और देश के आधार पर भी मार कूट किया है.
And then after that, we have also done this killing and pilfering on the basis of wealth and nationality.
अभी ये पूरा आपका किताबों में इतिहास के नाम से बहुत सारे पन्ने लिखी हुई हैं, इसको हर व्यक्ति देख सकता है.
All this has been written in great detail in our books by the name of history, which all of us are free to look at.
इस ढंग से मनुष्य का पूरा मानसिकता देखा जाए, जो जिसको राजी कहा जाए, और जो विशेष करके इनमें यही सब चरित्र देखने को मिले.
In this way, if we look at what exactly do you say?
लिखी हुई है. मानसिकता देखा जाए, जो जिसको राजी कहा जाए.
In this way, if we look at the mentality of human beings that we can consider to be razi, I think what he means by jisko razi kaha jaye is that which we can see comes up very easily, or which seems to have been generally acceptable to humankind, is this.
मनुष्य का पूरा मानसिकता देखा जाए, जो जिसको राजी कहा जाए, और जो विशेष करके इनमें यही सब चरित्र देखने को मिले.
If we look at this human mentality which has been generally acceptable, then specifically this is the kind of character that we come to see. This character of attacking and pilfering and destroying.
तो
Conquering, I guess.
इस परिस्थिति में हम उभरने की बात यदि आती है, यह धरती के वस्तुओं से हमको उभरना है, धरती के वस्तु के साथ ही हम डूबे हैं, ये बात समझ में आता है. इस परिस्थिति में हम उभरने की बात यदि आती है, यह धरती के वस्तुओं से हमको उभरना है.
Now, when the topic of overcoming this situation arises, then we have to overcome on the basis of what is present on this planet, the objects of this planet.
धरती के वस्तु के साथ ही हम डूबे हैं.
Because it is with the objects on this planet that we have also fallen into this sinkhole.
ये बात समझ में आता है.
That is something that is understandable.
तो कोई आदमी नदी में डूबता है, नदी से उभरता भी.
So when a human being drowns in a river, it is also in a river that they can basically, I think what he's saying is that humans can both drown in the river and they can also float in the river.
समुद्र में डूबता है, समुद्र से उभरता भी है.
They can drown in the ocean, they can emerge from the ocean?
ये सब देखा गया है, ये संभावना रखी ही है। वो संभावना को क्या हम अनुसरण करना भी पाते हैं, करना चाहते भी हैं।
So all of this has been seen. This possibility lies before us. But do we want to avail of this possibility? No, are we capable of availing of this possibility? Do we even want to avail of this possibility?
या नहीं चाहते हैं,
Or do we not?
ये हमारे विचारों पर निर्भर किया रहता है। उसके साथ परिस्थितियां अपने आप से सज हो जाते हैं।
That depends on our thoughts and mentality, and accordingly the situations arrange themselves. And then the situations arrange themselves accordingly. The circumstances.
चाहते हैं उसके साथ परिस्थितियां अनुकूल हो जाते हैं, नहीं चाहते हैं उसी के अनुसार परिस्थितियां प्रतिकूल हो जाते हैं।
If we wish to emerge from this situation, then also the circumstances arrange in a favorable way. And if we don't wish to emerge from this situation, then also the circumstances arrange in an unfavorable way, so as to leave us submerged.
यही हमारा जो देखी सुनी और सर्वे की हुई तथ्यों के साथ यही निष्कर्ष निकलते हैं।
This is the only conclusion that I have come to based on all that I have seen, heard, and observed, based on all the facts that I have seen, heard, and observed for myself. So he's saying that it is this planet, this natural world that we have been born in. It is with this, and including each other human beings. We are the objects of our planet. So it is with all of these objects of our planet that we are drowning in our problems. But it is also with all of these objects of the planet that we can also emerge from our problems, overcome our problems. And whether we are capable of that availing of this possibility of emergence rather than drowning, whether we wish to avail of that possibility, that really depends on our mentality, our thoughts, and our choices. Because he's saying circumstances can arrange themselves in either way. If we don't wish to emerge, overcome from our problems, then the circumstances will arrange themselves in that way. And if we wish to overcome from our problems, then circumstances can also help us out in that direction. So he's saying we can't blame things on circumstance. It really, at the end of the day, boils down to our own will and our own decisions and thoughts on whether we want to work towards overcoming these problems or not. I think let's pause here and we can talk about, we have like 7 minutes, we can talk about what was discussed in this video, if there was anything that you thought was worth thinking about. I was actually thinking about this mentality that he's talking about from prehistoric times till today. It's a common shared mentality, and because we've been having this conversation over the last, I think, month or so in different ways on, you know, how our sports and games and recreation are also sort of, you know, you find them to be adversarial and competitive. I was just kind of, that link was forming in my head about how even our recreation, our games, our entertainment is always so conflict oriented. It's always about beating the other or winning against someone. And because that has something that mentality has been honed for all of human history. That's just a thought that was going on in my head.
You're right about the sports. I mean, sports are no more fun, no, in that sense. Because ultimately, if you want to have just fun, you can play any game. But if you want to play sports seriously, then you always have an opponent, no?
Yeah.
Play with.
It's a big problem because if you really want to do well at it, then you have to join the adversarial dynamic of the game also.
Go against your body, train your body against its wishes, and
yeah,
training.
In fact, yesterday
And
Huh?
even though 100 grams makes all the difference, then,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, all of that comes in. That's what I was thinking about when listening to this section.
But I think this competitiveness only makes a person do better for themselves each day, like higher level, achieve a higher thing and whatever. But they can compete with their own self, the yesterday self.
That is what has been advised in opposition to competition. But I feel like that is also a sort of adversarial, sort of aggressive stance that people take. No, okay, I will beat my old self. Again, that has an anger, sentimental aggression involved in it, which I find is not really humane.
Depends what's the thing behind it. It could be just change, improvement, but it depends what is the emotion behind it, or the
But I think in some ways,
motive.
sorry.
Finished. Motive.
I think if you change because you see the reason for changing into something else because it makes sense, then that doesn't need you to kind of beat your past self or to improve even the quality, even the thing about improving is not really necessary. Like I feel like when I see something clearly, then I just automatically move towards that direction. And, I don't feel it has to be against, even your, like, to do better. I think even that's not really necessary, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that's like what Manjuji is also saying. With what emotion or sentiment you're trying to move towards growth or development or evolution, that really makes the difference. And I think that's what you're also saying, that you don't have to have the sentiment of wanting to beat your previous self. You can just see that, oh, there is something that I want to move towards. And so then something is pulling you rather than, pushing something down and then moving. This is the metaphor in my head where one form of moving forward is pushing something down and climbing on top of it versus being pulled and drawn by something greater. Yeah. So I feel like challenge is something which humans like, and something to look towards and to look up to and move towards is something that is quite desirable. Whereas this aggressive sentiment. Huh?
One second. Sorry, my calls are.
Oh. But yeah, this other aggressive sentiment of beating and competing, I feel like I can't separate competition with some sort of aggression, because it is about, it's that, what's it called? The zero-sum game, where you have to beat something. There is always an opponent, whether the opponent is imagined or yourself, your old self, and definitely if it's someone else, then there has to be some sort of exclusion or some sort of rejection involved in that sentiment. And that's what I'm imagining, this mentality he's talking about from early man, I mean, from prehistoric times. I feel like that is embodied in this also. In our everyday life, that's where we embody it most. I don't see where else. I mean, of course, in business and in work, all that comes in. But even if that's not what, maybe you're just a worker who's not involved in beating others. But I feel like this whole conquering attitude, at least in games and fun and play, is very, very prevalent still.
I think it comes as a package deal with the body and mind.
What?
It's a package deal. No, it's like a deal. You're born with all those things because you see your mom giving the older kid maybe a piece of apple and you something pasty, So when he says something starts irritating you and bothering you, and let's say, assume now you don't have teeth and the elder brother or sister has teeth, so the mother gives the older kid an apple and the younger one the paste of the apple or whatever. I've never been a mother, so I don't know, but something like this.
I guess we'll have to rely on Pashwa Didi's experience for this.
So then the younger kid feels cheated, no? Because he wants that apple, but he, so wahin se a competition. Now see how this elder brother gets it, and I'll also get it.
Sasha Devi?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not so much the competition, but like what Manjuji is saying, like maybe if you feel deprived of something. So I think it's like if you feel deprived, or if you don't feel safe, or you don't feel that your needs are met adequately, then you might start looking around, comparing, and kind of feeling that, okay, I want that. But I think if your needs are met, then maybe you wouldn't have that. I'm just thinking.
Yeah. How was it in your experience?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember, like, I mean, I gave them both apples. Even if they didn't have teeth, they would just, just sort of chew on it with their gums or something. So actually, there was just saying everything was same. Actually, we didn't actually make any distinction between one and the other in that sense of what they could get, and even birthdays and everything was not like it was one person's special day. Like we all celebrated it, and if we got something ever, then they would both get the same thing, and they would be kind of equal. So there was no sense of that, especially till they got older, and then they decided, okay, I want this and you want that, and they could make that choice without feeling that choice imposed on them, or that discrepancy imposed on them. It's quite okay, actually.
I guess also the fact that they're close in age also makes it easier to do that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
Because I've only been the older sibling, and I've never taken care of siblings together. I've only taken care of single children closely. So even because one does hear of this happening where, the younger child has been looking at what the older child gets and has been seeking that. But then it makes sense to me that if their needs were met, not just their physical needs, but also emotionally, if they felt satisfied and weren't, weren't lacking in any way, then it wouldn't be so much of an issue. But I haven't actually seen a real example of that. So
actually, with our boys, even there was this, like, they didn't have any sense of competition or comparison at all. And I really noticed the first time was like when there was a lady who was to work in the house, and she was feeding them. Sometimes she'd feed them in the afternoon and tell them stories and stuff. And then I guess she wanted to leave or go back to work or whatever. So she would try to get them to eat faster. So she'd say like, like in Gujarati or whatever, she'd say like, who'll finish faster? Like she would just say, who will finish faster, which to me didn't make sense, because anyway, I want them to,
Yeah.
I remember when she said that who can eat faster, that was the first sign of that they had a sense that actually there's something like faster and slower, or there's something like better or worse, or something that's more and like I could clearly see that was the first time when they experienced that thing. And I have a friend, actually, there's an interesting story. I have a friend also who used to play Snap, this very small game called Snap with cards, right? And if you get two of the same, then you get the card. And so this mother was playing it, this friend was playing with a little boy, little son, and every time he'd be winning all the things, and every time he won the whole thing, she would try to say, you're winning, and he'd look very confused, and he would just give her some cards, because he basically wanted to play. Actually, he didn't care about the winning, it didn't mean anything to him. And so it kind of showed me that it wasn't an innate thing necessarily, the winning thing. It was just like actually, when you came down to what he really wanted, he wanted his mother to be in the game and play with him, actually, and enjoy the fun of that bonding thing. It wasn't winning wasn't a thing for him at that point. So I thought an interesting story.
Yeah, that makes sense to me, that it wouldn't be innate and inevitable that the child would feel a sense of jealousy or competition. I think with parents who are aware of the children's needs and what they actually care about, then it can I feel like it could
help. It can definitely help then.
Yeah, because it makes no sense that this would be programmed into human beings to feel jealous and competitive and aggressive from the get-go. I think it's our lack of ability to educate parents and caregivers and society in general, and therefore our inability to educate the children in their own needs and in their own desires and what they're liking and what they're disliking about any situation. that leads to this prevalence, actually. I mean, can you imagine this whole glorification of champions and winners and conquering has been going on for literally hundreds of thousands of years, if not millions. So it's so deep seated in our culture. It can seem quite natural often, but then when you observe in yourself, it automatically, like when I check, it's actually come up so many times, Manjari, because we play games in the evenings after the workshops. So in the evenings, once the sessions are over, we play this game. With the most popular one is called Mafia. So in that, you have to figure out who the mafia is, and everyone else is on one team, and the mafias are on the other team, and you have to basically judge who is on which team. It's a competitive game in one way, and you have to lie and be suspicious of others and figure out from different clues who could be the ones who are mafia. And if you just sit and observe how you felt during different parts of the game, each of us can see in ourselves that it naturally felt really bad when you had to, lie or deceive or be suspicious even. This is what we've come to observe over several such sessions. And as soon as the game ends, during the game, it's all a secret what your role is. But as soon as the game ends, every single time we've played, and we've played it so many times now, everyone immediately starts, chattering for hours, even if we're allowed to just talk about what they were thinking at each step of the game. Because now, the secrecy is over, the suspicions are over, the teams are over. Now you can just share openly what you were thinking, why you did this, why you thought of doing that but didn't do that. And so it just becomes very obvious that naturally we don't want to be adversarial. Naturally, what feels most comfortable is to be open and cooperative and sharing. But in the game, something about the game is still fun. So what part of it is actually fun, we need to identify, and what part is actually unpleasant and we're tolerating for the fun element also needs to be identified. And then maybe we can address these issues. Similarly with children, I think.
What was he also saying something about he was saying, like, obviously that you can drown or you can come out of the water or float. So there's like, it seems like he was saying there's always two different options. Like wherever there's a situation that you can do the more destructive thing or the more kind of thing that harms more, or the thing that actually helps or makes you thrive more. But was he saying something about that if you once you recognize that you have that option, then something about circumstances open up or become available to go in that direction, something like that?
Yeah. He's saying, see, at any moment we have the choice that at any moment there is this possibility of either moving towards more harmony or moving towards less harmony. So, emerging from our problems or going deeper into our problems or remaining in our problems. So in every moment there are both possibilities, and therefore in every moment we have the choice to choose which direction we want to go for. And what he was saying is that choice really depends on your mentality, on your thinking, because it's not that circumstances are favoring one or the other. Circumstances can match either choice that you take. If you choose to work to overcome, then the circumstances will align to that. If you choose to remain in your problem, then the circumstances will become favorable to that as well. So it really depends on how your thinking is. Like often we write off our own power in any situation, saying that, well, circumstances were very unfavorable for that decision. And what he's really highlighting is that no, circumstances can match your choices actually. So at the end of the day, it boils down to our decisions and our thinking.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
That makes you feel not so helpless, no? You can.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. But it's a double-edged sword.
You feel empowered, like, okay, I can.
Yeah.
So that's what affirmations and all these things are. Nowadays, everyone's talking about it. No? Not nowadays, for the last so many years, of course.
Yeah. Actually,
Affirmation.
it's a double-edged sword. I obviously feel more empowered than anything, and so we all do right now. But it also means that we can't, um, you know, sometimes it's a
Be
form
responsible.
we can't console ourselves saying that I couldn't have done anything else. That's the other side of the same thing.
We can't blame our circumstance anymore. We can't use that as a.
You have to take, it also means you have to take full responsibility of what you're doing, where you are, why you are.
Yeah. Which is very empowering and very relieving, I think, for the most part. But initially, it can be very discomforting also.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it's mostly discomforting if you think of it in idealistic terms, Yeah, of course, in my current situation, with my current understanding, my current abilities and skills, I can't maybe, whatever, climb the final step of where we need to go. But that is a possibility I can work towards. And with my current understanding and my current skills, I can take the next one step forward instead of taking the next step backwards. So in that way, I feel when we become idealistic about what we could have done and what we should be doing, that is when it becomes disheartening and, kind of debilitating.
You want to blame the circumstances then.
Yeah, that makes us want to blame the circumstances.
Yeah.
But if we just look at it as lots of small steps in one direction or the other direction, then it's very empowering to think about it. That every single moment we have the choice to look for more harmony or less harmony. Yeah. Good point from today's recording, actually. So should we pause here then? And then we can meet at 3 on Wednesday.
Today is Thursday.
Yeah.
So it's going to be now Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
So bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye.